morning everyone. So today we are going to discuss about chapter number 19, final accounts. Final accounts is a combination of three statements. We prepare trading or manufacturing account, profit or loss account or income statement, and balance sheet. In final accounts, net profit is not calculated, rather it is calculated after calculating gross profit. In this we prepare trading account, profit and loss account, and the balance sheet. In this chapter you will be able to learn about meaning of final accounts, grouping and marshalling of balance sheet, preparation of trading account, profit and loss account and balance sheet, difference between trading and profit and loss account, classification of assets and liabilities, difference between gross profit and net profit, difference between balance sheet and trial balance, difference between order of permanence and order of liquidity. In this chapter, when you do it, you will be able to learn about the gross profit, its determination, net profit determination of any business during a year, to present the true financial position of a business on a given date, to help in making a different financial decision to the users of accounting information. After reading this chapter, you will be able to describe the flow of preparing final accounts, prepare the trading account and calculate the cost of goods sold and gross profit or gross loss, prepare the trading account with appropriate adjustments for sales and for items affecting the cost of goods sold, prepare the profit and loss account and calculate the net profit or net loss, prepare the trading and profit and loss account. Companies like Coca-Cola, Apple, Hewlett-Packard, Amazon, Google, Mattel and Walt Disney, etc. all started their company as sole proprietors, and Flipkart, Snapdeal, etc. started the business as sole proprietorship companies in India. A sole trader is entitled to keep business profit, but it is personally responsible for all business losses, business debt and tax obligations. For making out a business profit, some may even have business loss. They have to pay tax returns and payments and business debt also. They prepare the records of their business transactions for one complete year. A sole trading company finally prepares final accounts of its business in three different forms, namely trading and profit and loss account, balance sheet. Let us study about a company, Hewlett-Packard or HP. It is another popular brand for laptops that is based in the USA. The company was founded in the year 1939 by Bill Hewlett and David Packard. The company's headquarters is in California, the US, and the company has over 66,000 employees. Flipkart is an Indian e-commerce company based in Bangalore, Karnataka, India. It was founded by Sachin Bansal and Binny Bansal in 2007. Flipkart held a 39.5% market share of India's e-commerce industry and was described as being neck and neck with Amazon in the sale of electronics and mobile phones. Flipkart also owns PhonePe, a mobile payment service based on the Unified Payments Interface (UPI). Now, the concept of operating profit. A profit from business operations, that is gross profit minus operating expenses before deduction of interest and taxes. The term operating profit refers to an accounting metric measuring the profits of a company generates from its core business functions, where the deduction of interest and taxes is included or excluded from the calculation. The formula is the following used to calculate the operating profit of a company. Operating profit is equals to revenue minus operating cost minus cost of goods sold minus other day-to-day expenses. Other day-to-day expenses may include depreciation, amortization, etc. Company XYZ income statement for the current year, let it be revenue of $1 million, cost of goods sold $500 million, general and administrative expenses $50,000, total operating expenses $850,000 and so on. An example of operating profit. Walmart Incorporation reported operating income of $20.4 billion for its fiscal year 2018. Total revenues, which were equal to total operating revenues, tallied $500.3 billion. These revenues came from sales across Walmart's global umbrella of physical stores, including Sam's Club and e-commerce businesses. Meanwhile, the cost of sales, or COGS, and operating, selling, general, and administrative expenses totaled $373.4 billion and $106.5 billion, respectively. The firm did not separately list amortization and depreciation on its income statement, or $503 billion minus cost of goods sold, which amount $373.4 billion, minus operating expenses $1.6.5 billion, are all equals to operating profit, that is $20.4 billion. From $20.4 billion, net income further subtracted interest expenses of $2.2 billion, a loss on extinguishment of debt totaling $3.1 billion, and a provision for income taxes of $4.6 billion, for income total of $10.5 billion. Operating profit. Mattel, Barbie, Hot Wheels, Fisher-Price, Thomas & Friends, Mega Bloks, Mattel Games, these are the different sole proprietorship toy manufacturing companies. They record its operating profit and operating profits or incomes for the purpose of finding its net profit and recording them either in the horizontal or vertical form in the trading and profit and loss account and balance sheet. Also, the business houses like Fun School India Limited, it's an Indian toy manufacturing company founded in 1987 with headquarters in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Apart from its own brands, the company also manufactures and distributes products in the India market under license from foreign toy brands including Hasbro, Disney, Warner Brothers, Takara Tomy, and Ravensburger. Mattel Incorporation is an American multinational toy manufacturing company founded in 1945 with headquarters in El Segundo, California. The products and brand it produces include Fisher-Price, Barbie, Monster High, Ever After High, Polly Pocket, Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Masters of the Universe, American Girl, Thomas & Friends, and WWE. Their expenses are operating expenditure, operating expenses, operational expenditure, or OPEX. It is an ongoing cost for running a product, business, or system. Operating expenses are incurred in the regular operations of business and include rent, equipment, inventory cost, marketing, payroll, insurance, and funds allocated for research and development. Operating expenses are necessary and mandatory for all and most business houses. Let us take one more example here. 48-year-old Nalin Tayal from Ludhiana, Punjab, is one such entrepreneur who, after completing his studies and working as a financial consultant for 5 years, went to establish his own financial consultancy firm, GATS India Limited, in 1999 by providing consultancy services for valuation, debt management, and auditing to banks and insurance companies. The company has reported a turnover of rupees 400 crore and has expanded to offer services like banking, forex, tours, and travels. Examples of compensation related operating expenses incurred by such a firm are as follows: compensation and related payroll tax expenses for non-production employees, sales commission, though this could be interrupted as a variable cost, that is therefore part of the cost of the goods sold, benefits for non-production employees, pension plan contributions for non-production employees. Examples of office-related operating expenses: accounting expenditures, depreciation of fixed assets assigned to non-production areas, insurance cost, legal fees, office supplies, property taxes, rent cost for non-production facilities, repair cost for non-production facilities, utility costs. Examples of sales and marketing related operating expenses: advertising costs, direct mailing costs, entertainment costs, sales material costs such as brochures, travel costs. There may be a thing which should be noted here. Finance related costs may be excluded from the operating expenses as they are not generated by the ongoing operations of a business. If these costs were to be included, examples would include auditor fees, bank fees, etc. If so, the following costs are also examples of operating expenses: freight in, freight out, direct materials, direct labor, rent of production facilities, compensation for production personnel, benefits for production personnel, depreciation of production equipment and facilities, repair of production equipment and facilities, utility costs for production facilities, property taxes on production facilities. Next we have non-operating expenses. The non-operating expenses are the expenses which are not related to the principal activities of the business. Like telecom services providing company sold its building at $1 lakh loss, this loss will be treated as non-operating expense. A non-operating expense is an expense incurred from activities unrelated to core operations. Non-operating expenses are deducted from operating profits and accounted for at the bottom of company's income statement. Examples of non-operating expenses include interest payments or costs from currency exchanges. Examples of non-operating expenses. Depending upon the type of industry, a company may incur several types of non-operating expenses. Here are some examples: interest expense, obsolete inventory charges, derivatives and restructuring expense, loss on disposition of assets, damages caused to fire, flotation cost, lawsuit settlement expenses, written down of receivables or inventory, write-off of intangible assets, expropriation of property, altered accounting principles, discount on the issuance of shares and debentures, amortization of preliminary expenses. There are three different formulas to calculate operating profit. Operating profit is equals to net sales minus operating cost, or it can be calculated as gross profit minus operating expenses, or we can even calculate operating profit as net profit plus net operating expenses minus net operating incomes. And when we calculate the operating income, the formulas can be total revenue minus direct cost minus indirect cost, or gross profit minus operating expenses minus depreciation minus amortization. Operating incomes, net earnings plus interest expense plus tax. Final accounts gives an idea about the profitability and financial position of a business to its management, owners and other interested parties. All business transactions are first recorded in a journal. They are then transferred to a ledger and balanced. These final tallies are prepared for a specific period. Main objectives of maintaining accounts are: the main objectives of accounting are maintaining a complete and systematic record of all transactions and analyzing the financial position of a business. Every individual or a business concern is interested to know the results of financial transactions, and their results are ascertained through the accounting process. So here is an example given. So we have to prepare a trading account for the year ending March 31st, 2016 from the following particulars: opening stock 20,000, cash purchases 30,000, drawings in goods by the proprietor 500, credit purchases 20,000, purchase return 1,000, cash sales 40,000, credit sales 30,000, goods given as samples free of charge 100 rupees, loss of goods by fire 1,500, goods sent on consignment at cost 1,500, wages 400, rent and taxes 500, return inward 2,000, discount 200, commission on purchases 100, commission received 400, closing stock 3,500, travelling expenses 700, octroi duty 75, expenses of taking delivery 25, goods given as charity 100, carriage inward 1450. When we make a trading account of the same, you can see there that first of all we take the column of particulars, then the amount, then again particulars amount. One is for debit side and another is for credit side. First of all, opening stock is recorded, then purchases, cash purchases plus credit purchases less return outward. Then on the right side, by goods sent on consignment. By sales, sales include cash sales plus credit sales less return inward. Then goods given as charity, goods given as simple, carriage inward, wages, commission on purchases, octroi duty, expenses of taking delivery are calculated, and finally, when from the credit side, debit side is reduced, gross profit is obtained. First problem, these data relate to Zucker Company's July 2017 operations. Opening materials and beginning 7,000, work in progress 7,500, finished goods 10,000, materials used 46,800, selling and journal expenses 6,700, material ending 9,000, work in progress ending 3,500, finished goods ending 12,000, direct expenses 400, direct labor 8,000. So when this cost of goods is calculated, first of all, opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. So this is a formula for calculating the cost of goods sold. Similarly, in another example, opening inventory plus purchases less purchase return plus direct expenses, that is freight inward, minus closing of inventory, and cost of goods sold would be $51,000. Cost of goods sold statement here shows opening inventory 7,000 plus net purchases 48,400 plus direct expenses 400, material available for use 55,800 less closing inventory 9,000. So bracket when we use it for subtracting. Direct material use 46,800, direct labor, that is 80% of the direct labor cost, which is 8,000 again, prime cost 54,800, factory overhead cost 6,400, total factory cost 61,200, opening work in progress 7,500, cost of goods available for manufacturing 68,700, closing work in process 3,500, this we have to deduct, cost of goods manufactured 65,200, opening finished goods 10,000, cost of goods available for selling 75,200, closing finished goods, it will also be deducted, that is 12,000, and after that we will get cost of goods sold as 63,200. Next we have direct and indirect expenses. Expenses are amounts paid for goods or services purchased. They can either be directly or indirectly related to the core business operations. Type of an expense and timing at which it is incurred by the business frames the key points of difference between direct and indirect expenses. Examples of direct and indirect expenses can be rent, lighting, salaries, wages, sales, etc. Direct expenses, direct as the word suggests, are those expenses which are completely related and assigned to the core business operations of a company. They are mainly related to purchase and production of goods or services. Direct expenses are a part of the prime cost or the cost of goods or services sold by a company. Direct expenses are directly related to the production of the product sold or service rendered. They may differ for different types of companies, such as manufacturing companies, construction companies, service companies, etc. Examples of direct expenses: wages, factory rent, cost of raw material, premises renting, fuel, carriage inward. Direct expenses are shown on the debit side of a trading account. So in this particular pic, you can see the direct expenses like wages, carriage inward, freight, octroi and cartage, fuel and power. Next we have indirect expenses. Unlike direct, indirect expenses are not directly related and assigned to the core business operations of a firm. Indirect expenses are necessary to keep the business up and running, but they can't be directly related to the cost of the core revenue generating products or services. Just like direct expenses, indirect expenses can also be different from different types of organizations. These are usually shared costs among different departments, segments within the firm. Examples of indirect expenses are salaries, telephone bills, printing and stationery, legal and accounting charges, carriage outwards. So, if you draw a profit and loss account, we can see the different indirect expenses which are shown on the debit side of an income statement. Like I have circled them all: salaries, rent, rates and taxes, traveling expenses, stationery and printing, postage, audit and legal charges, telephone expenses, insurance premium, marketing and advertisement, interest paid, discount allowed, sundry expenses, carriage outward, bad debts, depreciation, repairs and renewals, commission, other expenses, loss by fire or theft. Here we have a chart of difference between direct and indirect expenses. So on the basis of its meaning, direct expenses are the expenses related to the production, process or purchase of goods. Indirect expenses are not related to the production, process or purchase of goods. Direct expenses help in the calculation of gross profit, while indirect expenses help in the calculation of net profit. Direct expenses are included in the cost of goods sold. Indirect expenses are not included in the cost of goods sold. Direct expenses are posted in trading account. Indirect expenses are posted in profit and loss account. Direct expenses are related to factory. Indirect expenses are related to office. Direct expenses are calculated as they are needed to know the actual cost of production, but indirect expenses are needed to know the actual profit for the year. Let us take an example here. In 1912, long before India's independence and the partition, a small tent in Amritsar, Punjab started selling Punjabi food to the locals. Started by a man from Sialkot, Pakistan, the Punjabi food tent became popular over time and withstood the economic churn caused by the Indo-Pakistani wars of 1965 and 1971 and another conflict in 1984. Today, it stands strong as full-fledged restaurant loved by locals. Paramada Taba, Subhash Vij, who is 63 years old, the owner, and the restaurant's 106-year legacy won't go away anytime soon. Subhash's son has joined him in the business and together they are running 3 branches in the city. We can check menu, famous cuisine, popular dishes, find average price, facilities of this restaurant, my trips, customer services, Exigo money, alerts, travelers, innovative layouts, well thought execution make the place a highly coveted point of tourist interest. These facilities are provided by such hotels which are considered as a small trade business in India. All are maintaining their accounts as how to go with Google payments for tourists, planning trips and many more activities such as dealing with Zomato, Swiggy, maintaining accounting records of every order so placed. For great dining experience, make sure you go to their empty to manage access to your account and for other purposes described in our privacy policy. Cost of goods sold refers to the direct cost of producing the goods sold by a company. This amount includes the cost of the materials and the labor directly used to create the good. Cost of goods sold is also referred to as cost of sales. Examples of what can be listed as COGS include, these are some practical examples. So they have cost of material which is used in the production part, the labor involved to convert the cost of material in the production, the wholesale price of goods which are resold such as in grocery stores, overhead expenses and the concept of storing and warehousing. Any business supplies not used directly for manufacturing a product are not included in cost of goods sold. Trading account is a statement which is prepared by a business firm. It shows the gross profit of business activities during a specific period. It is a part of the final accounts of the entity. Trading account format for the year contains particulars, amount, debit, credit, purchase, sales, etc. Trading account is prepared to find out the gross profit of the business for the particular accounting period. It is calculated by comparing the net sale with the cost of goods sold. In trading account, on the debit side, we record opening stock, purchases less purchase return, direct expenses. On the credit side, we actually record sales less sales return, closing stock. If debit side is more, then we have gross loss. But on the contrary, if credit side is more, we have gross profit. So when we calculate cost of goods sold, we use the formula beginning inventory, that is opening stock, plus purchases made during the year minus closing inventory. When calculating the cost of goods sold, we should not include the cost of creating goods or services that you don't sell, like the cost of nut bolts involved, cost of recycling the material, any cost which is like to bear the any income which is used by earning the scrap value. This cost of goods sold even does not include any indirect expenses like certain overhead cost. They do not factor things like utilities, marketing expenses, or shipping fees into the cost of goods sold. Purpose of a trading account helps to know gross profit or loss. It helps to know the amount of purchases, expenses related to purchases, and manufacturing expenses. It helps to know the percentage of gross profit in sales. It helps to determine the percentage of direct expenses on sales. Trading account, in this we calculate gross profit or gross loss. It is ascertained by preparing trading account. Cost of goods sold is equals to opening stock plus net purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. Here are some points which are used to give importance and clear the purpose of preparing trading account. Ascertaining gross profit or gross loss. Ascertaining ratio of direct expenses to gross profit. Calculation of gross profit ratio. Comparison of stock with the stock of previous year. Comparing the actual performance with the desired performance. Comparing the actual performance with the previous performance. Trading account has the following features. It's a nominal account. It is prepared on the last day of every accounting year. It is the first stage of the final account of a trader and the second stage of the final accounts of a manufacturer. Only revenue transactions are included in it. It has no opening balance. On debit side, the cost of goods sold and all expenses related to purchases are included. On credit side, all sale proceeds are recorded. Trading account is a nominal account. It contains items of revenue nature only. No items of capital nature are there. Its closing balance indicates gross profit or gross loss. Credit balance represents gross profit and debit balance represents gross loss. Trading account contains the following details. First, it has closing stock showing the details of raw materials, semi-finished goods and finished goods. Total purchases of goods, fewer purchase returns. Total sales of goods, less sales return. All direct expenses related to purchases or sales or manufacturing of goods. While placing the items in the trading account, opening stock, purchases, purchase related expenses, direct expenses and factory or manufacturing expenses are debited and closing stock and sales revenue are credited. Trading account is prepared to know the amount of gross profit. So here we have a format of trading account. First of all, opening stock, then purchases, less purchase return, wages, freight, carriage inward, clearing charges, packing charges, dock dues, factory power, octroi duty. On the credit side, we have sales, less sales return, and then closing stock. If debit side is more, we will have gross loss, which will be transferred to profit and loss account. If credit side is more, and after deducting the expenses, we will have gross profit, which will be transferred to profit and loss account. Then we have adjusted purchases. The concept of adjusted purchases. Adjusted purchases is calculated by adding the opening stock to net purchases. That is cash purchases plus credit purchases less purchase return and subtracting the closing stock therefrom. In other words, adjusted purchases is equals to net purchases plus opening stock minus closing stock. Suppose a company has opening stock of rupees 40,000, purchases 20,000 pieces of LED bulbs at the rate of rupees 50 per piece. 50% of it is not paid in cash and moreover 20 pieces were defective and then returned. At the end, it has stock worth rupees 38,000. So net purchases are cash purchases plus credit purchases minus purchase returns. 5 lakh of cash purchases plus 5 lakhs credit purchases minus 1,000, that is purchase return, then it would be calculated as rupees 9,99,000. Adjusted purchases are equals to net purchases plus opening stock minus closing stock. So here we have 9,99,000 plus 40,000 opening stock minus 38,000 closing stock, which will be equal to 10,01,000. The trial balance never shows the closing stock. However, firstly, we need to show the amount of closing stock on the income side of the trading account, and secondly, in the balance sheet under current asset. We value the closing stock at cost or market price, whichever is less. On the date of preparation of a trading account, we value the closing stock which is physically available. However, we can prepare the trading account in horizontal form also, but the contents shall remain the same. Next, why profit and loss account statement is prepared and how it is prepared. We will learn how it is prepared with the help of few examples. Every business wants to know the incomes earned and expenses incurred during a particular period. Usually, at the end of the year, profit and loss statement or account shows the profit or losses earned incurred by a business for a month or for a year. Companies use profit and loss statement and others use T account for these below mentioned reasons. First reason is every company prepares a profit and loss account or statement at the end of the year generally to get the visibility of the income, earnings, expenses and loss incurred in a specific range of period. It is important to prepare profit and loss statement because this information helps an organization to take the right business decision, like where should we do the cost cutting, from where we can a business generate more profit, and in which part business is suffering the loss. Profit and loss statement or profit and loss account is prepared for two main reasons. First reason is to know the profit or losses earned incurred by a business, statutory requirements, Companies Act, Partnership Act or any other law. The account that shows annual net profit or annual net loss of a business is called profit and loss account. It is prepared to determine the net profit or net loss of a trader. Profit and loss account is a component of final accounts. The following items usually appear on the debit and credit side of a profit and loss account. Profit and loss account or profit and loss statement, we have two types of profit and loss. Either we can have gross profit or gross loss, and we also ascertain net profit or net loss. Profit and loss account is made to ascertain annual profit or loss of a business. Here only indirect expenses are shown in this account. All the items of revenue and expenses, whether cash or non-cash, are considered in this account. Only the revenue or expenses related to the current year are debited or credited to profit and loss account. Profit and loss account starts with gross profit at the credit side, and if there is gross loss, it is shown on the debit side. We can have a format here of profit and loss account. So you can see that on the debit side, we use to record all the indirect expenses, office and administrative expenses, selling and distribution expenses, financial expenses, depreciation, miscellaneous expenses or losses. And on the credit side, we record non-operating recurring incomes, other incomes. If debit side is more, then we have net loss, which is further transferred to capital account. If credit side is more, we will have net profit, which is then transferred to capital account as such. Why do we prepare profit and loss account? Why it is important to prepare a profit and loss account? What is the need of profit and loss account? First of all, it helps you to find net profit or net loss. It helps you to find details of indirect expenses. It helps in preparing balance sheet. Net profit earned or net loss incurred is carried to capital account to find the capital at the end of the year. Maintaining provision and reserves to meet future uncertainties and to strengthen financial position of the firm or company, certain provisions and reserves are to be maintained out of profits. For the purpose of financial analysis, several ratios are calculated with the help of information, data provided in the profit and loss account. From the following information, prepare trading and profit and loss account of Abdul Rahman for the year ending 31st December 2016 and the balance sheet as on that date. Closing stock on 31st December 2016 was valued at rupees 2,000. Opening stock 500, sales 5,000, discount received 500, building 50,000, cash in hand 4,500, purchases 1,300, wages 700, salary 500, capital 50,000. In the books of Abdul Rahman, first of all, we'll draw trading and profit and loss account for the year ending 31st December 2016. On the debit side, we'll record opening stock 500, purchases 1,300, wages 700, and on the credit side, we will record sales of 5,000, closing stock of 2,000. So therefore, the gross profit would be 4,500. Then, this gross profit is carried in the profit and loss account. Discount received is an income and will be recorded on the credit side. After that, we'll record the indirect expenses, which is given here as salary and which is 500. So therefore, net profit, which is transferred to capital account for the books of Abdul, that would be 4,500. From the following balances of Niruban, prepare balance sheet as on 31st December 2017. We have a trial balance here, which is showing us the balances of various assets and liabilities. Plant and machinery 8 lakhs, land and building 6 lakhs, furniture 1,50,000, cash in hand 20,000, Bank overdraft 1,80,000. Debtors 3,20,000. Creditors 2,40,000. Bills receivable 1 lakh. Bills payable 60,000. Closing stock 4 lakh. Investments 80,000. Capital 15 lakhs. Drawings 1,30,000. Net profit 6,20,000. Now, when the balance sheet is drawn, first of all the assets and liabilities are separated. All the assets will be shown on the credit side and under the heading assets. First of all, we'll start with the order of fixed assets, that is land and building 6 lakh, plant and machinery 8 lakhs, furniture 1,50,000, short-term investments 80,000, stock in trade for 4 lakh, debtors 3,20,000, bills receivable 1 lakh, cash in hand 20,000. And on the liability side, first of all, we'll record capital 15 lakhs plus net profit 6,20,000 minus drawings 1,30,000. Creditors, bills payable and bank draft, which amounts to 2,40,000, 60,000 and 1,80,000 respectively. So, balance sheet, liability and asset sides both totaled with 24,70,000. So now, here is the concept of making a balance sheet. If we record fixed assets upside and then the current assets, and on the liabilities also, first of all the non-current liabilities and then we record the current liabilities, then it will be known as order of permanence. It will be defined as the order of permanence. But if this order is reversed, like if cash will be shown first, then debtors, then stock, then the fixed assets, and on the liability side, first of all bills payable, bank draft, and in the last capital is shown, then it is known as order of liquidity. Arranging of assets and liabilities, grouping them and arranging them either in the order of liquidity or in the order of permanence is known as marshalling of balance sheet. Now we will learn about the difference of trading and profit and loss account. Trading account, it is the first stage of final accounts. Profit and loss account is the second stage of final accounts. Trading account shows gross result, either gross profit or gross loss. Profit and loss account shows net profit or net loss. All direct expenses are connected with purchase or production of goods, but in profit and loss account we record all indirect expenses. Trading account does not start with any balance, but profit and loss account either starts with gross profit or with gross loss. In trading account, the profit or loss, that is gross profit or gross loss, will be transferred to profit and loss account. In profit and loss account, the balancing part, that is net profit or the net loss, is transferred to capital account in the balance sheet. Sole proprietors generally prepare balance sheet in a horizontal form with capital and liabilities on the left hand side and assets on the right hand side. Under this form of presentation, the items are prepared in T form, which is not in sequential order. So, as we have already discussed the order of liquidity, in which first of all non-current assets are liquid assets are recorded, then we go for fixed assets. And on the other side, the liability side, first of all the journal liabilities or the current liabilities are recorded, and then the liabilities that is non-current are written down. Then we can summarize the same balance sheet based on the permanence order. In the permanence order, you can see that on the asset side, first of all we will record the fixed assets, then the current assets. But in case of liabilities, we will first record the non-current liabilities and then the current liabilities. And such an arrangement is known as permanence order, based on which a balance sheet is made. Now, grouping and marshalling or arrangement of assets and liabilities. The assets and liabilities should be shown in a certain order in the balance sheet. This is called grouping and marshalling of the balance sheet. Grouping means putting together items of similar nature under a common heading. An order in which assets and liabilities are presented on the balance sheet is known as marshalling. Marshalling of record is to point out assets and liabilities in a specific order or arrangement. We will either show assets and liabilities in liquidity order or duration order. First of all, liquidity order. Under this system, we show all those assets first in the balance sheet that will be liquidated within very short time. After this, we show fixed assets which are used for business and not for sale. In the liability side, we show different liabilities first which will be due with very short time, and then we can show fixed liabilities like long-term loans, reserves and capitals.
Second is permanence order. This is the second system in which we show the assets and liabilities on the basis of permanence. We show fixed assets and fixed liability before showing current assets and current liabilities in this system. Sole proprietor's financial statement. There are two types of layout, order of permanence and order of liquidity. Items in the balance sheet are arranged according to the length of time held or outstanding, which is known as order of permanence. Items are arranged according to how easily and quickly it can be converted to cash. So that can be termed as order of liquidity. Now we will discuss about the elements of balance sheet. The way the money is get invested is known as creation of assets. Now the person has to know that where the money has actually came from. Liabilities plus equity. Equity is the proprietor's own funds, his own capital which he has invested in the business, and liabilities means the money which is invested by taking loan from outsiders. Assets are probable future economic benefits. They are obtained from past transactions or events. Liabilities are probably future sacrifices of economic benefits. They are arising from present obligations. It is to transfer assets or provide services in the future. As a result of past transactions or events, the residual interest is net asset. What are the benefits of a balance sheet? It determines risk and return. A balance sheet secondly lists your assets and liabilities in one place. It can be used to secure loans and other capital. It provides helpful ratios. A balance sheet helps to communicate information about the financial position of the business at a particular moment in time. It can give an indication of the financial strength of the business and can also indicate the relative liquidity of the assets. It also gives some information on the liabilities of the business and when they will fall due. The combination of this information can assist the user in evaluating the financial position of the business. It helps in comparison of assets and liabilities of business on two dates to ascertain the progress being made by business. Now, the limitations of balance sheet. Asset, liability and entity values are at a particular point in time only. These values will change over time. The entity's value is not really reflected in balance sheet due to items that generate future benefits or involve future sacrifices, not satisfying definition recognition criteria, historical nature of the items or the combinations of cost and fair values of the balance sheet. Preparing a balance sheet involves management choices, judgments and estimations. From the following trial balance of Sharan, prepare trading and profit and loss account for the year ending 31st December 2017 and a balance sheet was on that date. Closing stock on 31st December 2017 was valued at Rs 2,50,000. We have some debit and credit balances. On the debit side, we have opening stock 2 lakh, purchases 7,50,000, carriage inward 75,000, wages 3,65,000, salaries 1,20,000, repairs 12,000, rent and taxes 2,80,000, cash in hand 97,000, land 21,50,000, drawings 1,66,000, bank deposits 2 lakh. Credit balances we have sundry creditors 12,000, purchases returned 30,000, sales 10,20,000, commission received 53,000 and capital is 33 lakhs. So we have a total of 44,15,000. So when you will draw the profit and loss account, first of all we will record opening stock, then purchases less purchase returns, carriage inward, wages, and on the credit side we will record sales, closing stock. Here debit side is more, that is 13,60,000 and credit side is 12,70,000. So we have a gross loss of 90,000. Now this gross loss will be taken to the profit and loss account. Two gross loss brought down 90,000. We will record the internet expenses or the selling expenses now. First of all, salaries 1,20,000, repairs 12,000, rent and taxes 2,80,000. On the credit side, we will record commission received as 53,000. Then, because the account already showed a loss, so debit side is again more, that is 5,02,000. Deducting the commission received from it 53,000, company is suffering from a net loss of 4,49,000. When the company prepared its balance sheet, its land amounted to 21,50,000, stock 2,50,000, bank deposits 2 lakh, cash 97,000, and the total is 26,97,000. Now the capitals which it has is 33 lakh. Net profit is added in the capital, but net loss is always deducted. Drawings are also deducted. So a total of 26,85,000 will be shown in the outer column. We have sundry creditors 12,000. So on the both sides we have 26,97,000. Now when we conclude this chapter, we can say final accounts give an idea about the profitability and financial position of a business to its management, owners and other interested parties. All business transactions, management business transactions are first recorded in journal. They are then transferred to a ledger and are balanced. The preparation of a final accounting is the last stage of the accounting cycle. It determines the financial position of the business. It is compulsory to make trading account, the profit and loss account and balance sheet. When we make profit and loss account, we include returns, expenses, profit and loss, and thus determines the profit position. In the balance sheet, we record the assets, debits and equity to know the financial position of the business. In cash flow statement, we actually record our deposits and payments, which will ultimately affect our cash and cash equivalents. So, in this presentation, we have covered the meaning of final accounts, grouping and marshalling of balance sheet, preparation of trading account, profit and loss account and balance sheet, difference between trading and profit and loss account, classification of assets and liabilities, difference between gross profit and net profit, difference between balance sheet and trial balance, difference between order of permanence and order of liquidity. Read the chapter thoroughly, practice unsolved numericals given at the end of the chapter, follow the given reference links for more clarity of the topic. Now, after doing the chapter, you can solve the given numericals. Like here, you have to prepare a trading and profit and loss account. Opening stock 1,50,000, purchases 4,50,000, salary is 50,000, other expenses 20,000, sales 6 lakh. Closing stock could not be ascertained, but it is known that goods are sold at cost plus 50%. The manager of the business is entitled to a commission of 5% on net profits after charging such commission. Second question, a trader maintained provision for doubtful debts at the rate of 5%, a provision for discount at the rate of 2% on debtors, and a reserve for discount at the rate of 2% on creditors, which on 1st January 1993 stood at 1,500, 500 and 400 respectively. We have 2-year comparisons of different items like bad debts written off, discount allowed, sundry debtors, discount received, sundry creditors. So here you have to show all the necessary accounts to be prepared in the form of ledgers. In the third question, Rahul's trial balance provide you the following information. Debtors 80,000, bad debts 2,000, provision for doubtful debts 4,000. It is desired to maintain a provision for bad debts of 1,000. So here state the amount to be debited or credited in profit and loss account. You have 4 options with you: 5,000 debit, 3,000 debit, 1,000 credit, or none of these. If the rent of 1 month is still to be paid, the adjusting entry will be outstanding rent account to rent account, profit and loss account debit to rent account debit to profit and loss account, and the last option is rent account debit to outstanding rent account. Next question, if the rent received in advance is 2,000, what would be the adjustment entry? Profit and loss account debit to rent account debit to rent received in advance account, rent received in advance account debit to rent account, or none of these. If the opening capital is 50,000 as on 1st April 2016 and additional capital introduced 10,000 on January 1, 2017, interest charged on capital is 10% per annum. Amount of interest on capital shown in profit and loss account as on March 31, 2017 would be 5,250, 6,000, 4,000 or 3,000. So here this was all about the concept of final accounts. Now you can go through the links, listen to the video so that you can come to know that what is the basic outcome of preparing a final accounts